17,000 subscribers divided by 58 million. I'm sorry, 17,000 subscribers divided by 57 million followers. Do you know what percentage went? Do you guys really want to know? 0.003% went to want to subscribe to her channel. Did you understand what number I just said right now? To say they've lost their influence and their sizzle of what the Obamas used to be would be an understatement.
Behind the shiny speeches, chart-topping books, and Netflix spotlight hides a persona crafted more for branding than depth. Patrick Bet-David tears apart Michelle Obama's polished image, revealing how fame and influence were confused with real leadership. What seems like history in the making is actually the same political dynasty wrapped in flawless packaging. Bet-David makes it impossible to look away. Michelle's legacy isn't about bold transformation, it's marketing dressed up as meaning.
If you can play this clip, this is her talking about how expensive it was to live in the White House. Go for it.
It's expensive to live in the White House, as many people don't know. Sure. I mean, much is not covered. You're paying for every food, every bit of food that you eat. You know, you're not paying for housing and the staff in it, but everything, even travel. If you're not traveling with the president, if your kids are coming on a Bright Star, which is the First Lady's plane, we had to pay for their travel to be on the plane. It is an expensive proposition, and you're running for 2 years and not earning an income.
Michelle Obama has spent years perfecting her image as America's beloved former First Lady. But Patrick Bet-David isn't fooled. He rips into the polished brand, exposing the contradictions, the staged sincerity, and the nonstop self-promotion that turned Michelle into a living, breathing business model of victimhood, coated in celebrity shine. She wasn't simply a First Lady, she was a full-scale marketing campaign in motion. And Bet-David shatters the illusion with ruthless precision.
Obama's net worth in 2007. What was Obama in 2007? 1.2 million, 1.3 million. Okay, so their net worth is, let's write this down. This is pre-White House. Their collective net worth was 1.3 million. Can you go to where their net worth was in 2016 when they're done being presidents? Okay. 2016, so their net worth, as expensive as it was, they went from being 1.3 million.
If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash that bell icon. Michelle's rise to cultural icon status wasn't built on real achievements, it was built on branding. She wasn't elected. She wasn't chosen by the people. She just happened to marry the right man at the right time. Yet she struts around as if her words carry prophetic weight, as if the whole nation should cling to every lecture she delivers. Patrick Bet-David tears into this absurdity, exposing how Michelle became the only First Lady to transform herself into a multi-million-dollar franchise, complete with a Spotify deal, best-selling books, and a worldwide speaking tour, all while claiming to relate to ordinary struggles, even as she lives in mansions and travels by private jet.
Right? So you watch, well, Rogan's interviewing other people. You're sitting there, and then you see panel. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? You can say whatever you want about The View. Guess what everybody talks about every week? The View. Why? Because here's what she said, here's what he said, here's what she said.
Right, yeah.
So they're bringing, even though you can't stand what they stand for, they bring, you know, what do you call it, Tulsian. They'll bring and have the fight with Stephen A. They'll bring and put the people on there, Junior and all these guys, and have the conversations with them. Of course, you don't agree with it. Michelle is doing a podcast from a standpoint of, you guys know who.
Her image as the ultimate relatable woman is one of the greatest scams in modern politics. She acts like the neighbor next door, the down-to-earth mom grabbing Chipotle and shopping at Target. But behind the photo ops and staged moments is someone who has lived decades wrapped in privilege, power, and luxury. Bet-David exposes the hypocrisy. Michelle preaches humility and sacrifice while collecting paychecks bigger than most families will see in a lifetime just for a one-hour speech about so-called shared struggles. This isn't relatability, it's performance art, crafted for an audience desperate to believe she's sincere.
Can you now go to their net worth today, 2025? What is the net worth
It's got to
today?
be worth a couple $100 million. No?
It's two numbers. You see
There's
70 million to 250 million dollars. So 70 million to 250 million dollars. If you type in a couple other places, you'll see 100 million. You'll see 70 million. But you'll see a couple ranges. But let's just stick to the 70 million dollars. Pre-presidency, 1.7. So expensive being at the White House. It was so expensive that our net worth went from 1.3 million to 12.2 million 8 years later.
Michelle's brand is victimhood disguised as empowerment. Her speeches overflow with stories of struggle, how life was so tough, how she felt overlooked, how people doubted her, how she had to claw her way to the top. Bette David points out the irony in this act. This is a woman who went to Princeton and Harvard, married the man who became president, lived in the White House, and now basks in unimaginable wealth. Yet somehow, she still persuades audiences that she's fighting the system. Still the underdog, still oppressed by unseen forces. Patrick rips apart this illusion, exposing it as the ultimate con, a billionaire victim narrative.
Tell you what I think she's trying to do. And again, pure speculation, folks. I may be fully wrong here. I think she's taking a page out of Jada Pinkett's playbook. Because I think they're getting ready to announce that something's going on in the marriage. And I think this is their way of doing it in a very subtle way. Because if you're taking shots at him slowly, you're taking shots, you're taking shots, you're taking shots, they're going in games in different ways. I'm not sure if there's been an entanglement or not, but I think there may be a possibility of a news coming here soon that could actually get her podcast to blow up. And you know what could get her podcast to blow up? If she announces that
The irony is that Michelle Obama has never hidden her dislike for politics, yet she just can't stop inserting herself into it. She insists she wants a private life out of the spotlight, but like clockwork, she reappears every election season to lecture voters, warn them about what's at stake, and brand anyone who disagrees as a threat. Bette David exposes how Michelle mastered the trick of playing it both ways, dodging accountability by pretending she's above politics, while still trying to steer the nation with carefully polished sermons from the sidelines. Her speeches aren't about inspiration, they drip with moral superiority. She talks down to Americans as if they're children who constantly need scolding. Patrick Bet-David mocks this condescending tone, likening her to a school principal nagging students for unfinished homework. But Americans don't want to be talked down to by someone who hasn't lived their struggles in decades. They don't want lectures on sacrifice from someone whose version of hardship is adjusting to life after the White House in a $12 million mansion.
This is a lady that sold 14 million copies of her book, 725 on day one. 8 million US, 14 million worldwide. Sometimes you got to watch your own content from back in the days and see what happened there. Now, don't get me wrong. If there is a divorce going on, if there is a challenge going on in the marriage, if there is something like that and you're going through it, look, it's an issue.
Patrick digs into the irony of Michelle's image as a women's champion. She poses as the face of empowerment, yet her entire platform exists in the shadow of her husband's presidency. Still, she lectures women about independence as if she built her empire alone. The disconnect is glaring. Her post-White House projects, production deals, documentaries, podcasts are sold as wisdom but feel like vanity plays. Bette David mocks how every move is framed as giving back when it's really just another revenue stream for the Obama brand. It's capitalism dressed as activism, and audiences pay to be lectured by someone who hasn't lived their reality in decades.
Barack Obama makes shockingly honest admission about the state of his marriage to Michelle. Okay? So here we go. Barack Obama, shocking admission about the state of his marriage to Michelle. Go a little bit low, Rob, if you could. So everybody's wondering, like, you weren't there at Jimmy Carter funeral, you weren't there at Trump, Michelle I'm talking about, and then you start a podcast with your brother. Barack Obama makes shocking admission on Michelle Obama. I was in deep deficit with my wife. He told Tepper, conversation Thursday, So I've been trying to dig myself out of that hole by doing occasionally fun things.
Then comes the endless speculation about Michelle running for president. She claims no interest, yet never shuts the door. Patrick sees the game, deny to look humble, but keep the suspense alive for influence. Michelle thrives on the whispers, loves being cast as the Democratic savior, the one who could swoop in and rescue the nation. Bet David drives it home. If she truly wasn't interested, she'd end the talk. But she won't, because the rumors keep her relevant. Her greatest weapon is guilt. Criticize her, and you're branded bitter, sexist, or resentful. Bet David refuses to play along, showing how she hides behind identity politics, turning any challenge into prejudice. It's not about ideas, it's manipulation. She convinces audiences that doubting her means doubting progress itself. And it's a scam that's lasted far too long.
Obama office responds to Trump's accusation of treason outrageous. Let me read this to you, and Thomas Ellsworth, I'm coming to you first, so please be prepared with all your notes.
Ready.
Obama's office spokesperson, Patrick Rodenbush, great first name, rejected the office of the Director of National Intelligence. Reports claim that senior Obama administration officials orchestrated the Russia collusion hoax, stating, out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response. And he called the allegations outrageous and ridiculous, a weak attempt of distraction.
Patrick Bet David strips away the gloss and shows Michelle for what she is: a brand, a symbol, a product. Her legacy isn't policies or reforms, it's selling herself as a cultural phenomenon. She's turned victimhood into marketing, privilege into struggle, and condescension into inspiration. The truth is clear. Michelle isn't a leader. She's a celebrity cashing in on politics without responsibility. That's the roast Bet David delivers, exposing her not as a selfless icon, but as the polished face of a dynasty built on entitlement and branding. While Trump sits in the White House, Michelle lingers on the sidelines, clinging to relevance while pretending she's above it all. Her story isn't about breaking barriers, it's about building a business empire on victimhood and getting the world to cheer as she cashes the checks.
Don't need any of this crap. No, nothing. Obama was silent. Why is Obama silent? Ask yourself, ladies and gentlemen.
He's above this.
Or maybe he's deep in it. Maybe he's not above it, he's deep in it. And so he sends a spokesperson, Patrick Rodenbush, which is what Obama doesn't do. He's never riding Bush, is got an issue here.
What was that?
Now he goes, the office of the presidency and the office. So they're speaking in third person. Whenever you have people in Washington that are cornered, they speak in third person.
Patrick Bet David doesn't just call out Michelle Obama's false image. He digs into what her continued relevance says about modern politics. The fact that Michelle, who never ran for office, passed legislation, or debated policy, is still treated like a potential presidential contender shows a culture hooked on celebrity over substance. Her aura is nothing more than a brand, curated to keep the possibility alive while offering little in return. It's politics turned influencer culture, and Patrick skewers it perfectly. The irony is that Michelle embodies what she claims to oppose. She sells herself as the humble everywoman, yet lives in untouchable privilege, talking hardship while sipping wine in Martha's Vineyard, lamenting public life from a mansion bigger than most neighborhoods. Patrick exposes how her relatability is pure performance, crafted to win over voters who believe a first lady with book tours and Netflix deals actually understands their struggles.
All of a sudden, the Dems did flip in August, and they put a Newsom, Michelle combination. Do you know what mainstream media would do with that? CNN, what Jimmy Fallon, Colbert, all these podcasts, the Oprah Winfrey, the NBA, LeBron.
Forget it.
Do you know what Taylor Swift, do you know what these guys would be doing? It would be bonkers. By the way, if it is Michelle and Newsom, it's good.
Michelle's grip on politics isn't about ideas, it's weaponized nostalgia. Supporters remember the Obama years as glamorous and historic, but the reality was stagnant wages, endless wars, and racial division. Michelle is the glossy filter over that mess, thriving on people's preference for fantasy. Her strength isn't leadership, it's marketing, smiling in the spotlight while others do the work. Patrick digs deeper, showing how her influence shaped the Democratic Party's obsession with image over principle and its refusal to face failure. Floating her name as a candidate isn't hope, it's desperation. Proof they lack new ideas, fresh talent, or a way forward without recycling icons. Michelle isn't a savior. She's a reminder the party has nothing left but nostalgia and smoke.
Obama's second term, he did none. Obama's first term, I think he did one. And Bush's first and second term, he did none on day one. This guy's come out the gates. One moment he's talking to World Economic Forum. Another second you're looking at him, he's talking to California, chewing out, Bass and Mayor Bass and talking to the folks there. Next minute he's in Vegas talking about no tax on tips. Next minute you're seeing him talking to military folks. Next minute you're seeing him on the media.
What makes Patrick's roast hit hard is how easily Michelle Obama's contradictions collapse under scrutiny. She rejects politics, yet stays political. She claims she's tired of the spotlight, yet never leaves it. She poses as an outsider while being one of the world's most connected elites. The hypocrisy is so obvious, Patrick barely has to exaggerate it, exposes itself. Her post-White House career is built on monetizing fame while pretending to resist it, and Patrick tears that apart with ruthless precision. Defenders say she inspires, that her story uplifts millions, but Patrick flips it, showing that inspiration without substance is empty. It's one thing to preach hope, it's another to deliver it. Michelle never has. She turned hope into a brand, but left nothing behind but slogans. Real leaders leave legacies of change, not book sales, streaming deals, or ticketed lectures.
There's this story about Michelle Obama starting a podcast. And I kind of want to go through this, Michelle Obama's podcast. And her and her brother, they started a podcast. They look like twins. If you want to... No, I'm actually not being sarcastic.
Yeah, well, if she
Rob, what is this, Rob?
Where's her
This
brother?
is the announcement of the podcast.
Okay, play the clip. Maybe this will help out a little bit with subscribership. Go ahead and play the clip.
Hey, TikTok, it's Michelle Obama, and I'm here with my big brother, Craig.
Hey, everybody.
We're here because we're excited to announce the launch of our new
have so many opinions
podcast
about
called
this.
The knockout blow in Patrick's takedown comes when he casts Michelle as the perfect product of a broken system. She represents what politics becomes when performance matters more than achievement, when narrative outweighs reality and image is everything. Michelle isn't a stateswoman, she's a lifestyle brand. Not a leader, but a curated fantasy. Patrick makes clear her role in politics is less about serving people and more about staying relevant while the cameras roll. By the end, the roast lands. Michelle isn't the future of politics, but a relic of an era built on illusion. Patrick doesn't just hit her reputation, he dismantles the myth of her untouchable status. What's left isn't a shining icon, but a figure who built a career on presence without purpose, applause without achievement, and power without accountability. A brutal reminder that even the most polished myths collapse under truth. And Patrick makes sure Michelle's collapse is unforgettable.